Hi, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of the Alder Hour, the New Year special. I know it's not New Year for a couple of days, but bear with us. The New Year special prediction show. Really looking forward to this. It should be your favorite way to end your working day, if indeed you are working today. And I know that lots of people in Europe won't be, but equally lots of people will be. So we are 100% live, even though I'm actually on holiday. It doesn't matter. Here I am live doing the show. That's the commitment I have to producing content. The Order Hour is part of the Purple Acorn Network. So if you want to find out more about Purple Acorn, head over to purpleacorn.com. purpleacornnetwork.com after the show if you want to learn more. And you can also follow Purple Acorn on LinkedIn. If you are watching us live, please join in with your own predictions or tell us what you think about our predictions. And it should be an interesting show. So I'm going to stop wittering on and introduce my co-host, Rhona. Hi, Rhona. How you doing?
Hey, Matt. Doing good. Also taking a break from my supposed vacation to do the show because we love Purple Acorn and we love
We
making
do.
content for them.
We care, and I'm just getting my content head back on because I've not spoken into a microphone for a few days, and I seem to have forgotten how to do it. How was your Christmas? How is your vacation going? What's going on?
My Christmas was good. My vacation so far, I've worked almost every day, but I've created content that I wanted to create. I've only
There we
had like
go.
one client call. The rest has been just like me creating content, and you'll see some of that unhinged whatever stuff that I've created
I
soon.
can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. It sounds awesome. So we have a very different show. We're gonna be making some predictions, and we will introduce the mechanism that's going to help us make predictions in a second. In fact, here it is. So we're gonna be spinning this wheel, and basically talking about whatever topic it throws up to us for as long as we can remain interesting. So we'll see how we get on. But before we do our first spin, at this point of the show, we normally do our points and pints where we have a drink and discuss the news and all that sort of stuff. So we're not doing that, but I brought a drink because it's Christmas. Although again, non-alcoholic, so I have this can of Lucky Saint. Not even there. We go. Lucky Saint Hazy IPA. 0.5%. Have you what do you have? What do you have there, Rona?
Well, I went back to my Trader Joe's roots and I have their sparkling apple juice. It's really good.
That's cool. Right, let's get this open. So you've got kind of like your stash of Trader Joe's in the back there. Um,
Yes.
yes, Trader Joe's, please sponsor the show. Okay,
Please.
here we are. Let's pour this out. Um,
I have it in a wine glass.
perfect, perfect. Here we are with our non-alcoholic drinks. Pretending we're drinking. This is good.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's crack on with our predictions. So if we could have the wheel, I'm going to do the first spin. So here we go. Spin that wheel. That's a very, very convincing sound effect. What's it going to be? What is going to happen to the candidate experience? Okay, so I'm kind of thinking it can't get worse, but that could be the worst possible start to the worst possible prediction to make. So, obviously, candidate experience this year has been quite challenging. We've seen candidates use AI, volumes of applications go up, and we've seen employers not being very good at communicating, partly because of the volumes of applications they're getting, but in some cases also because there's probably some complacency in there that it's an employer-driven market and they can just find whatever candidates they want. So it's not been a good year for the candidate experience. But I think we've seen some green shoots of potential with some of the AI recruitment systems that are out there, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later. But I think that perhaps there's a way forward with new ways of doing recruiting, and more transparency, more feedback by automating that with AI. So I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say that the candidate experience is going to improve, but it won't be the candidate experience that we've been used to. It's going to look very different. Obviously, things take time to change, so I think that's what's going to evolve as we get into 2026. Rona, what do you think about this?
I agree and I also disagree. I think it's going to be trash. I think it's going to get worse until the job market turns. And by the looks of it, it's not turning. I saw a Wall Street Journal article this morning saying that hiring isn't a priority for top firms in 2026. So you know how it goes. Employers think they've got the upper hand and they don't have to worry about candidate experience. I think top candidates will continue to care about it. They'll Companies will get blasted online for their terrible candidate experiences. It's already happening. But I think that the companies that aren't short sighted and care about their employer brand are going to figure out ways to improve their candidate experience, even with their skeleton crew TA teams. And I think AI is going to play a role in that, in them trying to do it. But like the majority of companies, I think, are not going to care about candidate experience, and it's going to be even worse.
Okay, so I'm going to say slightly better, and you're going to say even worse. This is good. This
Yes.
is good. We've got something to kind of measure against when we kind of do this in a year's time. Okay, spin the wheel and get something else.
All right. Will everyone launch a podcast? Oh my gosh. Unfortunately and fortunately, I think a lot of people will launch a podcast, but we know how that goes, right? Most won't go past episode 5, maybe 10. I've already had prospects because, I do podcast production for people that reaching out to me and telling me flat out from the beginning, we only want to do 5 to 10 episodes total because of the evergreen benefits and everyone talks about it. Don't do that. Like, don't start a podcast if you're only planning to do a handful of episodes. You're not going to see the benefits. It's expensive. It's going to be a waste of your time. Do something else. But yes, I think a lot of people are going to start podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as the technology gets better, because there's so much you can do with podcasts and AI and all that sort of stuff, it's inevitable that not everyone, but lots of people will. I think that what I'd say about that, I mean, I completely agree with you. It's a very difficult thing to do. I think it's kind of, let's sort of trace this back to where's this coming from, and it's vendors, employers, everyone wants to be heard above the noise, and actually podcasting is probably one of the better ways to do that, because it's not as crowded. It can be long form, it can be all of that kind of stuff. But this is a very competitive space, and it's not the competition bit is what people get wrong. It's not, you're not competing against other podcasts as such. You're competing for a very limited time that people have to listen to and absorb content. So you're competing for space in someone's schedule to actually listen to your show, and that kind of slightly flips it, I think. So it's really important that if people are looking to do more content, looking to get their voice heard, they really think about why they're doing it, what they want to get out of it, also what they've got to say, and is that
Yes.
interesting to people? Because if no one listens, then it doesn't exist, essentially. And actually, is there a better way? Is there a better way to get your voice out there? Would being on other people's podcasts, for
Yeah.
example, be something to do? And or would another medium be more appropriate? And if after going through all of that process, it's still a podcast, then fantastic. I
Go
love
for it.
podcasts, and the more quality podcasts that we can have, the better. But it would just be horrible to see, lots of half-hearted podcasts that no one listens to, that just are a real waste of time for everyone, basically. So
Yeah,
yeah.
quality being the key. The last thing we need is someone reading off ChatGPT scripts and calling it a podcast. We really need, if you have nothing interesting to say, if you have no opinions, then having a podcast is probably not the best thing for you. That's just my opinion.
And I think also we could get into the horrible situation that YouTube at the moment is flooded with AI videos. If you can clone voices, you can write a script with ChatGPT, you can actually produce a podcast without actually being in it. And I think the other thing about podcasts is they're so successful when they work, because they create an emotional and personal connection
Mhm.
with the audience, and that's really important as well. It's not just about preaching content at people; it's actually about how you connect with the audience. So yeah, so I think we're kind of both agreed on this one, but we're
Yes.
urging caution and rethinking, and just think about why you're doing content. I think that's the thing, and think about who's gonna, who your audience is and what they want to hear, see, read, or listen to, basically. So there we go. Cool. All right, let's go on to the next. We can talk about this for hours. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Spinning the wheel. I'm spinning the wheel. I'm spinning the wheel. What have we got? Is Substack the next big thing in our industry? So a brilliant segue from podcasting to Substack. Now, we've got another prediction in here about LinkedIn, but this is really interesting for me because obviously in the last sort of 12 months, we've seen lots of people who previously might have got a lot of traction on LinkedIn with the stuff that they write, not getting that because of the algorithm change and those kind of things, and also, channels like Twitter, obviously whatever it's called now, and Threads just becoming full of, bots and fake content and hate speech and people just disagreeing with each other. Um, there is, I think, there is a need to find, other spaces to have sensible discussion and write content. And I think that Substack has been around for a while, and already some of the biggest sort of newsletters in the industry are delivered on it. But there's much more of a platform and a community about it that I don't think we as an industry have really sort of tapped into. And I think that it could be definitely something worth investigating, and I'm certainly going to be doing more stuff on there in 2026. Rona, what do you think? Is Substack the next big thing?
I think it could be, and I do think, I mean, we've gone through this period of video and everyone knows I'm team video, but at the end of the day, people really like written content is easier to produce and it's more accessible, and people are going back to long form writing. I think we're going
Yeah,
to see more of, back in the day blogger, everyone had a blog, every things like that. So I do think there's a huge opportunity with Substack. I think it's becoming more mainstream than it already was. So it's more of a like meet our candidates where they're at type of thing. And I think a lot of them, especially in tech, are
yeah,
going to be on Substack. And it's a huge opportunity for employer brands, and not so much on the employer side, but like actual people behind the brands. I
yeah.
think Substack is a great place for employee generated content.
Yeah, I would agree, and you can put video on there as well, and
Yes.
audio, and all kinds of stuff, and I think you're right, particularly in tech. There are lots of really kind of great niche audiences there around big newsletters in the tech industry that are already on there, or tech journalists that are already on there. And I think that the community features and the posting features really, are really interesting. And I know that there are people who publish newsletters on there already who don't sort of don't look at the rest of it. So yeah, I think, yeah, I'm gonna say it's definitely the next big thing in
Now
the
you're convincing me because I've been on the fence of whether to I have posts that I haven't published on Substack. Maybe I'll just hit publish after this.
Yeah, well, let's just try it and see what happens. Basically, come and visit us on Substack to prove my point. I think that's the important thing. Okay, right. Let's spin the wheel again. Here we go. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Will AI take
Ooh.
jobs, or will it improve productivity? Rona, this is your go.
Will AI take jobs? Absolutely. Yes, it will. Should it? Probably not, but it will. AI companies are raising millions of dollars to convince everyone that AI is the solution to every problem out there. And sadly, executives are seeing the short-term savings. So yes, jobs will be lost to AI, but I think it's temporary. I'm not sure how long though, but definitely I think next year we're going to see a lot more jobs lost to AI. Now, here's the thing, companies using it correctly will improve productivity. And that's really the biggest advantage of AI. It helps empower humans to be more productive. So, some companies are getting it right. And it's refreshing to see this. But I think the majority of companies are going to take the whole, oh, we can save some money and have AI do things that humans do, and it's going to be rough for a while before it gets better.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't disagree with you. I think we'll still see it being used as an excuse for
Mhm.
layoffs. But I think the interesting thing about this year is that so many jobs have been allegedly lost to AI that aren't being lost to AI at all. I think we might see the pendulum swing back because all these companies who are allegedly getting people rid of people because of AI, but blatantly haven't actually implemented it or found a productivity solution in it. I think it might swing back the other way. We might see people being employed because AI didn't work, which is which is not what's actually happened. But I think we might see more of that. And also, I think with the productivity thing, I'm hoping that we'll get to the point where people are actually, implementing this. And I think one of the one of the most interesting podcast interviews I did this year was kind of around this and the fact that AI doesn't take jobs, it takes tasks from jobs. But if you don't understand the tasks you have in your jobs, then it's very difficult to get any productivity from it. So I think that hopefully we'll see a kind of a more mature approach to trying to get productivity from AI. But I think that yes, we'll still be shedding jobs, I think. But I think also we might find companies kind of hiring and using the excuse that AI didn't work the way that they wanted it to, even though they never actually implemented it. I think that might be something that we might see. The pendulum might swing back. As
Hopefully it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's do the next one. How is HR going to evolve? Um, Good question. Good question. I say it's impossible to say. I think that we will see some significant changes in HR in the next year. I think there's kind of two bits to this. I think that this continual kind of breakdown of silos in HR between talent management, talent acquisition, internal mobility, learning development, those kind of things. I can see that continuing or becoming more formal. That should be interesting. And then I think, based on a lot of the conversations and articles that we've talked about on the show in the last few weeks, there's a bit about, is HR going to make that step up to really take the reins about what AI and productivity looks like? For example, is HR going to step up and be more influential within the organization, or is it just going to lean back into policy and process and all of those kind of things and become more irrelevant? So I'm taking a very optimistic view on this. It must be because it's so close to Christmas. So I'm going to say yes. I think we'll see some sort of positive evolution from HR in the next 12 months. I think we might see some silos falling down. I'm hoping that we'll see some CHROs kind of take that step up to strategically help their organization. Rona, am I being too optimistic?
No, I actually agree with you on this one. I think the days of HR folks saying I'm not very technical or I'm not tech savvy are gone. You need to understand AI. It's not optional. It's changing the workforce, and we are the workforce people. So unless we step up and like get with the times, we're going to become irrelevant, right? If we don't, someone else in the organization is going to take over managing the workforce, and that's obviously not what we want. And I think AI will make it seem like things like compliance, workforce planning, and the things that we've been saying, "Oh, we're secure, we don't have to worry because they're always gonna need a human to do this," are can be automated and don't require as much human interaction as before. Again, like I was saying before, it's going to look that way from the outside. So I think that we have to evolve. We're going to be forced to, literally, to save our jobs and our livelihood, and we're going to have to learn how to incorporate technology into our work and into how we speak about our work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see it optimistic. Unless we want to disappear, we're going to have to evolve.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, and I think also, you nailed it where with the way that the industry talks about technology. I think that's really important, and the level of expertise and knowledge that is needed to go forward around technology. Is definitely a big thing. Definitely a big thing. Okay, let's have another spin. See what
Yes.
we've got next. What is happening with LinkedIn?
What is happening? This I love this wheel. It's working well when it's my turn. It talks on the topics. Look, LinkedIn is going to continue to get more popular. More people will create content there. Is it going to be good content? Not necessarily. Most of it will be AI slop. We know that. But the people that will be truly successful and stand out are the ones that are not taking humanity out of content creation. But LinkedIn isn't going away. I see no other platforms that can replace it yet. I'm not saying that won't happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in 2026. And I think a lot of this has to do with the rise and or like people understanding that EGC, employee generated content, and like storytelling is going to be crucial, and it's going to be the most important thing as far as how to get to reach consumers, future employees, investors, everyone. That's why we've seen companies like Notion, PayPal, Microsoft invest in storytelling to the point where they have storytelling roles. We have content strategy for executive roles out there, very popular, especially towards the last half of this year. So LinkedIn isn't going to go away. They're going to be able to do whatever it is that they're doing with their algorithm, unfortunately, and we're just going to be along for the ride.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you're right. I think it'll become more popular than ever. Still the place to source candidates and the place to try and have conversations. I think the algorithm thing is interesting. I think that they're saying they're moving towards this interest based algorithm, which we can blame TikTok for because when TikTok started doing it, everyone started doing it. Have LinkedIn really nailed that yet?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, but that's the direction they say they're going in. I mean, I read an interesting thing this week that you can actually select if you want to see specific people in your feed. Whether that works or not, who knows? But it's interesting. But also, I think that people sort of also need to realize, particularly if they're trying to promote something, they're gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to pay for
Mhm.
visibility, in the feed. It's not gonna go back to, how it was sort of 2 years ago. If you're promoting something, you're probably gonna have to pay to get that, get that visibility. Which is why, storytelling and sharing and putting valuable content out there that isn't just written by AI completely is really important.
Because that's what's going to get shared organically and minimize the amount that you have to pay. Because at the end of the day, and I see this with my content, yes, impressions have gone down and all of that. But when you write something so good that people share it, it works and I get the same amount of reach I used to get back in the day last year, when the algorithm was friendlier and nicer to us creators. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the AI slop thing is something that we need to talk about as well because it 6 months ago, it was like, whoa, someone's using AI if there's got loads of M dashes or whatever. But it's just gone so much further than that now. It's just like, it's short sentences, it's silly questions with long answers. It's not this, it's this. It's just like the whole, we can all see the whole structure that AI posts are kind of built around. And sometimes I like reading them. Sometimes I'm just like, I just rather read something that a human had written. So we all do it to a certain to a greater or lesser extent. But I think that um, our ability to kind of recognize the patterns and the cliches is just kind of is really tuning up, which means it's even more important to make sure that you're writing stuff that people want to read, that's going to really stand out, because anyone can write a 250 word post with with comparisons and short sentences and M dashes and what about this way of thinking this and metaphors and all the kind of stuff that goes in. So yeah, think about really think about your content, think about your audience. If you're promoting something, you're probably gonna have to pay for it. Other than that, business as usual.
Yep.
Okay, let's do the next one. How many we got left? We've got 3 left, 2 left. Let's have a look.
Oh, I didn't count. Let's see.
Do you know what? You can answer this one first as well, because I know this is your topic, and it leads on beautifully from what you were just saying. So yeah, you go
Yes.
first.
Yeah. EGC is the way to go. Again, because of AI, because of all of this AI content out there, people want to hear from employees. And it's not just for employer branding purposes, which I know is the most important part for us, but for consumers, for like selling just anything, there's going to be a lot of EGC. That's the way we're going. My friends who own influencer marketing agencies are already seeing companies ask them to help them activate EGC campaigns and things like that. So EGC is the way to go. Storytelling, the roles I was talking about are going to be crucial. And I see it like right now, a lot of journalists are getting these roles and things like that. But I see us employer branders, recruitment marketing people really being able to move into those storytelling roles and leading EGC at companies, because it's a natural transition from leading employee ambassador programs, in my opinion. So, yes, and branding yourself as a recruiter, guys, it has been a bloodbath these last couple of years, with recruiters, and as far as losing jobs and things like that. When the market comes back, because it will, and while we wait for it, the way to stand out is really to have content out there, to brand yourself in some way. It looks different for everyone. You have to do what's true to you, but we need authentic voices, and that's the only way you're going to get jobs. Unfortunately, the whole applying and just waiting and hoping and networking isn't going to be the way to differentiate yourself. I actually did a really good episode with Hung Lee about this on my podcast on Workfluencer. He believes, and so do I, that recruiters are going to have to become a media brand themselves in order to succeed.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think on the employee generated content, I mean, call me weird, but my favorite content on TikTok is people talking about their jobs in a genuine, interesting way. Particularly if they're jobs that I've never done, but I've always been intrigued by. So I think that that kind of human interest, that storytelling, someone telling their story is not something that anyone else can copy, because it's their
Exactly.
story. And I think that, as humans, we're wired to listen to people's stories. So I think it's just a really critical part of escaping the AI swamp here, and getting attention and connection and all of those things. So yeah, no, completely agree. And yeah, the branding yourself as a recruiter, exactly the same. It's like, how do people, how do you stand out? How do you connect with people? And I think that in a everly increasing artificial and digital world, the ability to connect with a human in anything that we do is something that we crave, and something that really it really helps and is amazing. So I think it's just a really I agree with you. I think it's something that we need to look at really seriously. And I think that looking at it really seriously, we talk about storytelling, being good at storytelling. It's like we need to learn about storytelling. There's a science behind storytelling.
Yes.
There are things that it's not just about rocking up and telling a story. There are there's a whole there are methods to this. There are theory. There is science. All this kind of stuff. It's complicated, but you can learn about it. And I think that actually learning about the science of storytelling and how the human brain works is something that's just really, really important. So I think that the days of just rocking up and having a go and being the happy amateur, it's not those days. This needs to be good, but it's not out of reach for people to get to if they do a little bit of homework. The technology, the equipment, the kit is there to produce great video, great sound, great writing, but it's just the thing that goes behind it. And I think that's something that people can learn. And I think with recruiters as well, a good recruiter is someone who is excellent at persuasion and
Yes.
connection. So as a recruiter, you have all of the core innate abilities to be able to do this, but just find a structure to hang them on, and learn how to really stand out. So yeah, that sounds like more advice than a prediction.
No, but it is
Yeah,
true, and I 100% agree with you, and that's where and there's a science behind it, and I could nerd out about this for hours and hours, that's my jam, but that's where you'll be able to understand why AI is doing the whole short sentences. That's just one style, and all these things. So, like, I also encourage everyone, and yes, as recruiters, you are definitely great storytellers. So if anyone wants to know about how my easiest way to transition from recruiting general like our roles to storytelling, I have a video. It's private video. It was my talk that I did at RecFest this year, about storytelling. Just DM me on LinkedIn and I'll send you the link. I don't have it public for specific reasons, but yes, learn storytelling.
learn storytelling. That's our top tip. Our top tip for 2026. Do nothing else. Learn how to tell stories. Okay, last one gets the last spin of the wheel. What do we have? It's not really a surprise. I think we know it's going to be.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. AI in recruiting, use cases and software. I think that next year will be the year of it'll be called the AI interview, but it could be the AI screening. So I think that is going to go mainstream, and there will be companies that do it brilliantly, and there will be companies that do it really badly. There'll be great publicity around it. There'll be horrendous publicity around it. So, but it's going to happen. So I'm calling 2026 the year of the AI interview, for good or for bad, and it's gonna be a rocky one, I think. But the direction of travel is there. What do you think? Am I right?
I think yes, but I think that actually, it's gonna be the year of AI sourcing even more, and here's why. Because we're seeing a decentralization of TA. We're seeing the TA teams being dismantled and more hiring managers being tasked with whatever little hiring they're doing. They have to be the ones finding people and doing that. They're not going through this inundation of applications that we're getting. They're going to want to source. They don't know how to source. And that's where the AI tools that are focused on sourcing, I think, are going to win. But I really think vendors have to understand that consumers are also more educated in AI than they have ever been. So just saying that you integrate AI or just saying that you're an AI sourcing tool isn't going to cut it. People are
Yeah.
going to have questions that you're going to have actual answers for.
Absolutely. And I think another one for me is going to be data. I think that we've had a couple of a few kind of much sort of celebrated acquisitions and mergers going on this year,
Mhm.
allegedly to sort of provide end-to-end data across the employee life cycle that's going to improve TA. So I'm really interested to see what that looks like, what AI can bring us in terms of intelligence and data, and how that's going to affect everything. So yeah, I think that's going to be another aspect to it. I think that also we'll probably see an explosion of fake voices, fake videos, fake people, those sort of things. So I think that's coming as well. I think it's going to be a bit of yeah, it's going to be a bit of a kind of a transitional year in that I think that there will be lots of people who get this wrong, and it still might feel quite chaotic, but I think that it is going to be a step forward. So yeah, chaos again.
Yes. AI isn't going away, but yes, we will see a lot more of it. And I do agree that I think the AI interviews are going to be like second place, sourcing is going to be first, and then understanding the data is probably going to be in third place as far as how use cases for AI in recruiting.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to go with AI interviewing in first place, sourcing in second place, data in third place. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how we get on. Also, I mean, I think the it's going to be an interesting sort of year in terms of tech development as well, because having spent the last few weeks playing with some of the Google image stuff that's come out, you just wonder where everything's gonna go next, basically.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so it's yeah, crazy times. Well, anyway, they are our predictions, rants, comments, and advice for 2020 2026. Um and yeah, I mean, what else could there be coming up in the year? Conferences. I'm sure we'll get lots of conferences. Where are you planning on being next year, Rhoda?
My approach to conferences is I only go if I'm sponsored. So, as of right now, I'm going to Evolve, which is a smaller conference in January. It's in Atlanta. I'm actually the media partner for them. And I actually think, as far as my prediction, that conferences are going to continue to be important, but content is really going to be the most important thing. The conference organizers are going to have to get smart about the content to bring people back in. It's not just like, oh, we have these vendors here. Look, we don't care about that. We care about
Yeah.
going there for the content. And I think that small events with curated audiences are the ones that are going to win because I know from my perspective this year, I saw a lot of bigger conferences where most of the people were vendors and I think vendors are going to want to go back to no, we want to talk to actual people who buy from us. And right now, we're getting that at the smaller conferences with curated audiences and great content.
Yeah, I think people want face to face connection, so I think that events will kind of continue to thrive. But as you say, I think things have got to kind of evolve. And I think there was some really smart vendors this year who were doing some great things with content, and some really great conferences that were doing great things with content. But yeah, I think it will be interesting to see, who's up and who's down, and as we sort of go through the year. My calendar is very much in flux, but I think I'm definitely going to be at Transform in March in Vegas. I'm doing a conference in Munich in June. I think I'm trying to head to RecFest USA later in the year, probably HR Tech, but I'm still kind of working on it at the moment. But hope to get to as many events and see people face to face as much as I can, because we had a lot of fun this year. We did a lot of
Yeah.
really cool things, great people, great conversations, and yeah, looking forward to more of that in 2026.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned I'm definitely going to Wreckfest. That's one that I go to hands down. No matter what, I go to Wreckfest. So hopefully I get to see you there at Wreckfest USA. And yeah, I'm looking into some others, Transform, and who knows, maybe I'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll wait and see. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Rhona, for all your predictions. There are, what are there? 3 days left, 2 days left of this year, 2 days left of this year.
3,
So,
yeah, 2.
yeah, absolutely. So let me be the first to wish you all a happy new year when it comes, and we will be back next Monday.
Yes, Happy New Year,
So
everyone.
happy New Year, everyone. And yeah, check out all the other great shows on Purple Acorn. Check out purpleacornnetwork.com, and we will see you all next week.